Other interesting political news: the Chicago mayor is going to spend $500,000 to study reparations because everything else in Chicago is fixed. It's a great place to live. That's a joke because no, it's terrible. Been Democrat run for about 100 years, coincidentally enough. The highest crime rates in the United States. Interestingly enough, a lot of gang violence, and I mean, they also have all the gun laws in the books that Democrats want at a federal level. However, has some of the highest crime rates using firearms in the whole United States. It's funny when they say, "Oh, that's because the guns are coming from Indiana." That's what they told me when I was a kid. To which I would say, "Well, wait a minute. Why don't they have the same crime rates in Indiana?" Because it's culture, government, and ineptitudes, I would argue. And disarming law-abiding citizens is never the right cause. But nevertheless, straight from the horse's mouth or donkey's mouth. This is from Mayor Brandon Johnson, who took over from Lori Lightfoot, who, yeah, was probably most famous for saying she would only let minorities interview her. Like, she would not allow white people to interview her. Nevertheless, Mayor Brandon Johnson, hashtag Chicago Mayor, says, quote, and it's, I don't know, I don't agree with, one of those things where you just identify with I never agree with leading with your race in any conversations. It's just, I always say lead with your qualifications, your personality, who you are as a person. But nevertheless, he starts by saying, as a black man and as a leader of the major U.S. city, I have a responsibility to set the tone of how we rectified decades of negligence. Today's executive order on the Black reparations agenda is to confront Chicago's legacy of inequality. Kind of hilarious because, wait a minute, they're saying Chicago has a legacy of inequality. Who's controlled Chicago for almost 100 years? And it says, quote, and he has a news article says, Johnson administration to form Black reparations task force. Yeah, pretty about like 146,000 views, but only not even worse, 383 likes. The first comments comes from Conform, says reparations have already been paid, actually. And it says average lifetime U.S. budget impact by individuals of race. Whites were increased by 221,000. Latinos were negative 588,000. African Americans or blacks were down negative 751,000. Sources was usgovernmentspending.com. Again, it's not the actual government. It's not a government website. I got 399 likes. Jack Lombardi says it's about time to dangle reparations in an attempt to secure votes. Democrats use this playbook every election season. SMH. It's rather sickening. 515 likes. Douglas Riz says, as a black man and the leader of a major U.S. city, I have responsibility to set the tone. Meanwhile, and it says 5 people shot, 6th person injured, mass shooting in Humboldt Park. Got 408 likes. Let's see. And it says White Rabbit says there's no amount of money that's going to fix the culture of the South Side. And it's, what is a statistic on all the people that were murdered on Father's Day throughout the years? Let's see here. I got 163 likes. 30 Deep says, what about an executive order to keep citizens from being shot, robbed, and carjacked? 190 likes. Revolutionary Outlook says, a black man whose mayor is the 3rd largest city in the United States tells other black people that they're being neglected. 192 likes. Magic Man says, it's not your money, comrade, getting 119 likes. Wool Folk says, how about reparations for all the business owners that have been harmed by having terrible public safety in the city? Getting 31 likes in a picture of looks like a Nike store being robbed. Of course, they break the glass and they're all robbing it. Wearing sweaters, not a single suit in sight, of course. Again, this is, in terms of politics, it does get votes. I mean, there are there are millions of people who do think it's a good idea. That being said, you have somebody named Jetson saying this is wildly inappropriate, racist, and unconstitutional, getting 66 likes. Hey Jones says, what task force did you set up to give billions away to illegal immigrants? Getting 85 likes. Now, again, the issue is there's really no way to do this fairly. It's quite literally impossible. Let's say they want to somehow make it so they send money to the folks that were directly related to slaves. Where's that money come from? Well, most people did not own slaves. I mean, my family came from Cuba. And yet, presumably, if I were to, heaven forbid, live there, then my tax dollars would go to that initiative. So, again, it seems like it's just a quick way to give your friends money in politics. We're going to spend $500,000 to study this idea. Which, again, it's been studied before. And let me know in the comments, I can't think of a single way it could actually be done fairly. It's a very polarizing topic. It does get votes from people on the left and the right just bringing the topic up. And they'll probably raise campaign funds, and this will probably get them votes. I mean, if you're telling someone that they might get free money, that's a pretty big stick to wield, or pretty big, incentive to tell them to vote for you again. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens at the end of the day. If Chicago actually, and again, I hope the place gets better. It's very sad because a lot of innocent people get hurt a lot of innocent people get hurt in the crossfire. A lot of people are hurt because a lot of people who are negatively affected by this. If I were them, I move heaven and earth to get out of the city. But let me know. Do you think this topic will be brought up on the federal level? Do you think it might come up during the Biden-Trump debate? Let me know in the comments. As always, it'd be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you could click that button, I really appreciate it. Also, leaving a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment is a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.